Do you remember the sudden hush that fell over the live stream as Yulong and Yang, Mei Mei leaned forward together and said the words? It felt like the world paused for a single inhale, not because they were celebrities, but because the announcement that followed cracked open something everyone kept quietly hoping for. "We have news," Yulong said, his voice low and steady, and Mei Mei's hand found his without looking. "We're having a baby." The chat exploded into 1,000 languages, but for the couple, the moment was intimate, like a secret finally shared in a room where everyone was welcome to witness it. They had chosen to do it simply. No staged photos, no glossy press release. Instead, they sat in the soft light of their living room, an unpretentious setting that looked more like home than a set. Behind them, a small crib waited tucked into a corner, a knitted blanket folded over the edge. It was a domestic tableau that made the announcement feel less like a headline and more like a family story told aloud for the first time. Mei Mei's eyes glistened, not with performance, but with an unguarded, sure joy. Yulong's smile wavered with pride and a little disbelief, the kind of disbelief that comes when life surprises you for the better. That night, the internet did what it always does first. It screamed, it shared, it hunted for angles. But it also did something strikingly different. Millions of people simply listened. Messages poured in. Congratulations, prayers, quiet promises to protect the child's privacy. The couple had learned, through painful lessons and endless speculation, that truth felt safest when shaped by them, and this was truth in its purest form. They spoke about fear and hope in the same breath. "We were scared," Mei Mei admitted, "not because of being parents, but because we've lived under lights that make private things public." She pressed her thumb to the tiny blanket beside her, as if anchoring reality with a small, visible gesture. The story of how they prepared for the baby would be told later in clips and magazine pieces, but the rawest part of the narrative was that they did it quietly. There were late-night walks, whispered conversations about names, and compromises over schedules. There was laughter about nursery color swatches and tearful gratitude for a doctor who listened without spectacle. They consulted not for public approval but for the safety of a small life to come. Friends described a pair who became meticulous in the tenderest way, charting naps, practicing lullabies, and relearning what it meant to keep something sacred. Yulong spoke about the responsibility he felt. "It's more than protection," he said. "It's about choosing how we want our child to meet the world." His words were deliberate. He talked about modeling courage, humility, and the ability to say no to demands that would harm their child's peace. Mei Mei added, "We want our child to know kindness before headlines. We want them to grow with mornings that are soft, not staged." Those lines did not belong to a PR team. They were sentences full of the domestic ethics parents create inside kitchens and dawns. For fans, the announcement became a mirror. People wrote about their own parents, about the small sacrifices that made families possible, about forgiveness and second chances. Some remembered old wounds and decided to make calls. Others posted photos of their own children, with captions asking the internet to be gentle. In a strange and heartening ripple, the couple's news nudged thousands to act with more tenderness than curiosity. Media reaction was predictably varied. Tabloids tried to corner the narrative, seeking minutes in postpartum calendars and imagined schedules. Serious outlets, though, asked the questions that mattered. How will the couple protect their child's privacy? What measures will they put in place to shield a small life from fevered attention? Industry critics pointed to an evolution in celebrity agency, that public figures can, in fact, wield fame to demand boundaries, and that their choices might set precedents for how young families are treated in the spotlight going forward. Beyond headlines, there were practical ripples. Production schedules were quietly altered, shoots postponed, and contracts amended to honor their need for space. Colleagues applauded the decision, sending gifts and private notes of support. A director who had worked with Yulong wrote a message that became public by accident. "They ask nothing but kindness. We owe them that." It was a small human contagion, professional circles adapting to protect a family rather than exploit it. The couple also used the announcement to speak to a deeper theme, the right to ordinary childhood. Mei Mei recalled, with a small laugh, a memory of her own mother tucking her into bed and whispering, "Name your dreams," not the crowds. She said they wanted their child to find wonder in small things, in the smell of pancakes, in the softness of a rainfall, in the quiet of a library corner. The idea was simple and radical in a world that monetizes every private gesture. They intended to teach the child that life's richest treasures are not always performable. What followed in the days after was less spectacle than choreography. Careful, intentional moves designed to guard a beginning. The couple announced a limited access policy. No baby photos would be released until the child was old enough to choose their exposure, and fans were asked to respect that boundary. Social media managers quietly removed a few intrusive fan pages that had begun to circulate doctored images. The couple's managers met with legal counsel to review protective options. The message was clear. They were not hiding. They were setting terms. Fans created a movement of their own. Online communities made pledges to protect the baby's privacy, to report doxing, and to call out predatory paparazzi. Artists offered to design soft toys and donate proceeds to child welfare groups. It was the most constructive, community-minded fan reaction either of them had ever seen. For the couple, the public's willingness to adapt felt like an extension of the support they needed. For fans, it felt like a rare moment of collective care. Of course, not everyone respected the line. A few outlets attempted to guess the child's name, the due dates, even the nursery's decor. Yet, every intrusive report was met with a chorus of people defending the family's choice. The more the couple insisted on privacy, the more applause they received from unexpected corners. Artists, activists, and even some journalists who had once trafficked in noisier coverage. It was as though the announcement forced a larger cultural conversation about the moral responsibilities of audiences. Yulong also used the moment to speak about fatherhood in a way that surprised many. He admitted to a vulnerability he rarely showed in public, the fear of repeating mistakes, the desire to be present rather than perform, and the pleasure found in imagining a small hand in his. "I used to think the bravest thing was to stand on stage and face a crowd," he told his viewers. "Now I think the bravest thing will be to sit up at night, calm a cry, and be ordinary." That confession softened even critics, something the couple rarely achieved by any campaign or interview. Mei Mei, for her part, spoke candidly about the complexity of joy and anxiety. "There is sheer amazement," she said. "There is also real fear. Fear that will not be enough, that the world will want to make a spectacle of this life." Her voice held both tenderness and steel. She promised to fight for the child's right to a normal morning, to a childhood not mediated by feeds and flashes. Her promise mattered. People heard in it the possibility of a new standard. As months turned, the narrative shifted from anticipation to small domestic scenes. A photo leaked accidentally, a grainy image of a tiny shoe by a door, and the reaction was not frenzied but reverent. People respected the accidental privacy. The clip was shared with captions about patience. When the child finally arrived, the family released a single black and white silhouette image, a hand curled around an adult finger. No faces. No details. The internet responded with a tenderness that felt almost shy. Beyond the public gestures, the couple quietly invested in long-term plans for their child's well-being. They established an education fund and a health trust, and they committed to using their platform intermittently to advocate for child welfare and ethical media practices. They did not make grand pronouncements. Instead, they sent carefully verbose notes to a few NGOs and arranged private meetings. Their activism was functional, not performative, aimed at creating a safer environment for those born into public life. The arrival of the baby did more than create a headline. It reframed conversations about choice, exposure, and collective responsibility. Fans who had once been voracious became guardians. Media outlets that once sought to pry found themselves debating ethical lines. For many, the most moving part was not the celebrity factor, but the simple human sequence. Two people chose to create life together and then chose, deliberately, to protect that life. Years later, when the child grew and the couple allowed few glimpses into family life, most of what the public remembers from that announcement night is not a fact sheet but a feeling, a hush, a shared breath, and the warm blur of a living room where two people dared to bring something small into an often hostile world. They invited everyone to witness the beginning on their terms, and in doing so, they nudged a public to respond with restraint and care. It is possible to say that the baby changed everything for Yulong and Yang Mei Mei, not their fame, not their careers, but the way they moved through the world. They became, by choice, more private and more fierce in their defenses of ordinary life. For fans, the baby became a symbol of softness in a harsh climate. For critics who listened, it was a lesson in humility. And for the couple, it was what it always should be for any new parents, a beginning full of uncertain mornings, small repairs, and an abiding promise to try, together, to get it right.